Hello.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Sit and Knit for a Bit with Arne and Carlos. And we are, as always, your hosts.
Arne and Carlos.
And we are back with yet another podcast. Today's podcast is very summery. Believe it or not, this might come to a shock to all of you who are not from Norway. We're having a heat wave in Norway right now.
Yes, it's been terrible, actually. We've been going around complaining
Yeah.
every day now because it's too warm to be outside. Like today we're on the veranda, on the front porch, because it's too warm being in the sun.
Yeah.
And last night, no, one day it was almost 34 degrees
Celsius, which
Celsius
is
in the-
90 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, in the shadow on the veranda. And this morning, when I woke up at 6, it was 16 degrees already. So it's not a tropical night. I think it has to be
20,
over
21.
20 or 20 to be what they call a
Celsius.
tropical night. So it wasn't that, but it was warm enough. So
Yeah.
we don't like it.
Well, so we've spent most of the year complaining about the cold, but right now we're complaining about the heat. And this is how hot it has been in Norway right now. I mean, in this roof-covered terrace that we have, there's no wind. And the other day, it was about 34 degrees here inside our porch, our terrace. So we couldn't stay here. We had to go. If you look behind me, you see the greenhouse. So beyond that, there is a little sitting place next to the lake, a little bit further down.
Yeah, and that's kind of
Oh, actually, no,
cooler.
it's not beyond us. It's in front of the greenhouse, but it's on the lakeside.
behind you.
You can't see it. Anyway, that was the coolest place because of the shade there. But anyway, it's been so hot, and this is how hot it has been in Norway. I read this in the newspaper the other day. Norway, 2 days ago, was warmer than Dubrovnik in Croatia.
Yeah.
It was warmer than Crete and Rhodos
Yeah.
in
But
Greece.
we're still not up there with the temperatures they had in France.
No, not quite.
Because that's been crazy what they have had.
Yeah.
So, and also was it in when we had that football match in Florida, it was very warm.
Oh, right. Yeah, the football
Also-
game. Yeah, the Norway versus England that we sadly lost.
Yeah. But we had some friends over, is it a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
Beginning of July.
And I missed those days because we had to put on a sweater in the evening, which I like. I like to put on a knitted sweater in the evening.
Yes, that's a
It's
good
more
summer day for
comfortable,
us.
actually. It can be warm during the day, but it's nice when it cools down in the evening. But not this week.
So we chose to pre-record this podcast early morning because at this time of the morning it's still cool. It is going to heat up as the day progresses, but tonight, according to the weather forecast, we're going to have thunder and lightning and rain, and then tomorrow it will cool down. So we could have recorded this tomorrow, but we just want to get it out of the way now because we have lots of things to do in our summer vacation.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have two choices as well. We could record it indoors and sweat and be very hot because we do not have air condition in Norway. Or we could record it out here where my face is a little bit obscured
It's
by
dark on this side, but
by the shades.
Yeah.
And now to enhance the whole scene, we're doing talking about the scenery here. Beautiful garden. We've got special effects today. If you've heard them through our microphones, you're not imagining it. You've just been hearing the mooing of
there's
cows.
a lot of cows around the house right now. And
Well, not in the house,
no,
but
around the garden or the
not the
lake.
garden. Not the
They're
garden.
not in the garden, they're around. They're also around the garden.
Yeah, they're in the forests.
In the forest.
Some local farmer has decided that this is where they're supposed to graze this summer.
And this is not normal cows. When I grew up, the cows were more friendly.
Yeah.
Because they had people had contact with their cows, so gave them name. You could go down on the field and you could actually pet them and give them some sweet, like old bread or something. Actually, you had contact with the animals, and now
These are little thugs, I'm telling you.
and they're huge. And
So we were going to the supermarket the other day in the Beetle, and Arne said, I'll go get the car. And I said, good, I'll take the trash. I took the trash, and we have to walk all the way to the end of our driveway to throw our trash away. Usually it's not a problem. And also that's where our mailbox is. I wanted to throw the trash away and get the mail. And I get to you know, I mean, already walking towards the trash, I'm seeing that, this is not a good idea.
No.
And I mean, I don't even dare to approach, but I'm standing there and there's 6 cows standing in front of our little palace, the trash palace, as we call it, and the mailbox. And they are looking at me
Yeah.
and they're effectively telling me, yeah, try.
Try me.
You're not going to get past this. You're not going to
They're
pass
bigger
us.
than the beetle.
Thugs,
Yeah.
real thugs.
They're big.
I turn around and I walk back to the car and I said to Arne, I don't think we're gonna have to throw. We're not gonna be able to throw the trash here. So we just took the trash, put it in the car, and then we drove down. There's a station just on the road that then takes us shopping at the supermarket. So yeah, no mail that day. The cows just wouldn't let me.
I feel like putting up like an electric fence around the house, because sometimes when they're close to the fence, especially in the kitchen garden, it's a bit scary because they are very big. You never know. It's like having an elephant walking around the house.
Yeah, and I know this. I'm smart enough to know this. I mean, personally, I'm afraid of the cows, but I am not that afraid if I see Arne behaving in a normal way towards cows. He's had them all his life.
Yeah, I'm not, probably not
dairy
afraid
farmer
of cows
family.
normally, but this is not like a
Right.
milking. This is for meat, so they are not so
But they're not
tame.
bulls.
No, I hope not.
No, they're not
But
bulls.
they look like, there was one huge one walking by, and I thought it was a bull,
Oh my
but it was a
God.
cow.
Yeah. Well, I'm terrified. And looking at Arne, looking at him, you know, having respect for these animals, I'm thinking, these could be dangerous. I think we should call that farmer and tell him to get his cows out of here.
Yeah, or put up the electric
I don't
fence.
want an electric fence. Electric fences are ugly, Arne. And
Yeah.
this place is all about aesthetics. As you can all see in the background, we work. Look at that.
But you can't hardly see it. It's like a little red wire. I saw
but look at this.
a
We
neighbor
work-
down the road, he had one.
We work really hard to beautify
electric fence.
and maintain this garden.
You can build another wall.
Arne, I
around
have
the kitchen garden.
standards. I don't want an ugly electric fence. Can we build a beautiful one?
We can build a new, like a wall, like that one behind the white flowers.
Yeah.
But the good thing is,
Wait, hang on. I just want to tell everybody one thing before we move on. Please don't worry about us. Don't start writing in the comments that you fear for our lives. We are okay. And nowadays, when we go to the supermarket, I gently open the door. Although if we haven't heard the mooing, we know they're not here. But I carefully open the door. I look both ways. And if the cars are not there or the cows are not there, I run to the car, I get in the car, and then I drive. So we are okay, we're safe. And as long as we're in our garden, they can't get in. There's a wall on this side, there's a fence, and there's tons of trees.
but you know,
They can't get
if
in,
they're
can they?
outside the door, you just jump out and you scream at them, and then they run in
No,
every
I
direction.
don't want to do that.
I do that.
But Arne, they can't get in, can they?
Hope not.
What do you mean, hope not? They can't get
That's
in.
what I was trying to tell you. That behind there in the kitchen garden,
Oh, God.
I think we have to make a new fence
Okay.
or put up some electric wire.
Oh, my God. The electric wire is ugly, but if we have to, we have to, I
But
suppose.
I was trying to say the good thing is they leave a lot of poo.
Oh, yeah.
And yesterday I was walking around with a bucket, and I had those mittens on, you know, the garden gloves.
Garden gloves. Those?
And I was, no, the other one.
Oh, which ones?
I don't know where they are right now, in the greenhouse.
Oh, okay.
Well, you're not going to use them now.
No, I just want to know which ones because, you know,
But the poo is dry.
I know.
I give it 2 days in the sun with this heat.
Yeah.
It's like picking up like dry cookies.
Oh, like cakes.
Cakes. I had a full bucket of it, and I put it in the kitchen garden in the compost. And I'm going to take another round because there's more poo around
Yeah.
there. I'm going to pick up the poo.
Poo everywhere.
like-
And if it doesn't come from a cow, it comes from a goose. Because as you
No,
all
the
know,
goose poo I don't want to pick up.
as you all know, we do have the issue now with the Canada geese. So we've been, I mean, the cows is one thing, but we've just spent a week fighting against the Canada goose in the sense that we have been looking, where the hell do they get in our garden? And we found all the weak spots and we fenced. So we put fences now.
Yeah.
And by the kitchen garden, it's an ugly fence right now. But I have a plan, beautifying the fence. Arne got me some paint.
But they haven't been in the garden since you put that.
No, very efficient.
Yeah.
We put up a fence and then we put these metal netting in green.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to paint the fence green. And in my world, when I paint the fence green, it will just camouflage
It disappears into
with
the grass.
with nature.
Yeah.
And if it's not, and if it doesn't, I'm gonna get some brown and some pale green, and I'm just gonna do a camouflage thing.
But I think this green is good because the more you paint, the dark. It's not like paint. It's the what's base in English.
Oh God, Arne.
It's that paint you.
It's the outdoor paint. Let's call it
It's
that.
not paint, but it's the other one. And it gets darker the more you put on.
You know, we need to Google these words before
Yeah,
we
we
get
don't
on.
have the phone here, but we don't plan what we should talk about.
That
That's
is
the
true.
problem. And we need to have the phone all the time.
That is true. So we're pre-recording as always. Today is Friday, and now the date. It should be the 17th, I think.
I'm not sure.
Wednesday was the 15th, Thursday 16th. I believe it's Friday the 17th today.
I think it is 17. Yeah.
And as always, we are pre-recording. As you can see, the lupins are still in bloom and they're looking beautiful.
Yeah.
These are not allowed in Norway anymore. In Norway, lupins are an invasive species. They were planted in the 60s by the official
Is
road,
it already in the 60s?
or 70s maybe?
I don't know. It's been for a while.
But they were planted by the road office in Norway along roads, and it's taken over our habitat.
They're killing the wildflowers.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Killing the wildflowers. We have it here. It's not allowed anymore, but our lupins, we can't get rid of them, and they have been here for at least 20, 25 years. It's difficult to get rid of them, plus we like them, but they're contained. They're in a flower bed, and
I don't want to get rid of them.
No.
And we also pick the flowers when they start.
Yeah,
making seeds.
I cut all the seeds out so that it doesn't seed. And actually, we've been able to contain it quite well. That's pretty much what we get.
There was a blue one in there. I ripped that out because I don't want to have the blue ones because they are more the wild one, what you see
Yeah.
along the roads. But
The
the
red
red,
one's
this
nicer.
one is special because it came from Sissinghurst.
Yeah, and then you can see behind me here, the delphiniums are sprouting now. And down there, we've got plenty of peonies in bloom. We've got pink ones and white ones and red ones. And the lilacs, they were blooming up until last week.
Yeah.
So
They've been blooming for more than 1 month, I think.
yeah, so we've had a lot of things blooming at the same time, quite late in the year. And I have to say, the heat has been very good to the garden.
Our cottage neighbor said it was so fun. She came up here, was it a few days ago? And she said, it's amazing, the lilacs are still blooming. And in Oslo, they finished in
June,
May.
late May, early June.
Yeah, I think it was in May, she said. And we had them for more than a month.
Yeah.
So
So
that's also another good thing because we're so high up and normally it's cooler here. So things bloom longer.
and we've been pretty much living in the terrace, these days, trying to get this heat. Spend these days somehow. The heat takes away all our energy, and I haven't painted the fence yet. But tomorrow it's going to rain, and then we're going to a birthday party on Sunday. Monday I plan on painting the fence. Fingers crossed, all goes well.
Yeah. And also we had the question from Eva. Hello, Eva.
Oh, Eva. Hello, Eva.
Eva. We didn't sow those, what you call those, sweet peas?
Yeah,
No,
the sweet peas.
yet, and we're going to save them for next year because we were traveling in May and we were traveling in June, so we didn't want to waste the seeds by putting them in
No,
the
we were
soil.
traveling in May, not in June.
In May, and so we didn't want to waste the seeds by planting them when we came back from, was it England the last trip?
Mm-hmm.
Because then they wouldn't bloom. It wouldn't be long enough, I guess,
Right.
up here. So we're going to save them until next year if we're not traveling that much in May, because we need to have someone to water them.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And talking about
Wait, hang on. Oh, okay, yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
I found this one. We didn't plant this either. This is something we bought on the last trip to South Africa, and they said you could bring a few of these. We brought one because there's geranium incarnum, which we don't have in the garden. This one.
Yeah, this is from Kirsten Bosch, I think.
Yeah. So next year we're gonna try these. And this is the one you love. This one. What's that called?
The Cotyledon orbiculata. Yeah, that's very nice. I love them. There's no Proteus here though.
Isn't that the protea?
No, that's not a Protea.
Oh, I
The
thought that
Proteus
was
have
the
the like a spiky
Oh
thing.
yeah, that's the one you like. I don't know if
Well,
the
I
other
like all
one-
of them.
Maybe you can have them in the summer. I don't know. But
Yeah.
the geranium should actually make it to the winter.
They are okay. Contains everything you need to grow these useful medicinal plants, originating from the smallest of the 6 floral kingdoms in the world, the Cape Floral Kingdom of South Africa, one of the richest and most diverse kingdoms. So,
So next.
and then it says seedlings need to be sheltered in a greenhouse in climates with harsh winters.
Oh yeah, so we can put them indoors.
The seedlings, yes.
The seedling, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this is going to be exciting.
In harsh winters.
So this was a little quick update from the garden. In case you don't know, we have been working on reviving our blog. We had a blog. Our first blog was actually 20 years ago.
We were so trendy back then. One of the fashion magazines in Norway, they made an article about us because we were amongst the first people
Yeah.
who were blogging
And writing
and
things.
writing things.
And then that kind of disappeared. We were busy working fashion, and then we went into the books, and then we went into the YouTube. So we haven't done blogging for
It's a long time
20
now.
years, but last year we started to revive the blog the way it was originally with texts. And I have to say, it's been fun doing these texts. And the 2 latest articles that I have written are about the garden, how it started, and from the humble beginnings up until this. And they've been very well received, Arne. So I'm very happy.
That's good.
If you haven't
You
seen
can do a
them,
book.
that's what people are saying.
Oh yeah.
But if you haven't seen them, you can go to arnecarlos.com/blog and take a look. Maybe you'll enjoy reading. They're like a 5-10 minute read. Perfect with a cup of tea. Take a little break from all the scrolling on Instagram and Facebook, which is quite annoying nowadays.
I hear that a lot of people take a break now because
Yeah.
like Instagram has so much of the artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to understand what is real and what is not real. So I think maybe people want to have some real things actually.
Yeah, so we decided to transport you back into a time when people sat down and they read things.
Yeah.
Now, the way I sketched the garden articles, it's a part 3. The part 1 was the beginnings and how we had to fight nature. And then the second part was the part about this area here and how it got built and how all the accidents because of Mother Nature have created this rather beautiful garden that we're very proud of. And then we're going to do part 3. And part 3
What
is...
you are going to do.
I'm going to do part 3. And part 3 is going to be about the things that inspire us. So the garden that inspires us, the people that we met through the gardens, the trips that we did. So it's all about the inspiration. I don't know when it's going to be ready. They are actually very time consuming. And I had about 2 weeks from Article 1 to Article 2. Not sure I can make it, but I'll try. And then we have another story that we've been talking about, which Arne is going to write in Norwegian, and then I'm going to translate. It's going to be the story about the beetle.
Yeah.
So
Because that's also a story.
yeah,
We have so many stories.
everything in our life is a story. If you just, everything in everybody's life is a story. You just have to sit down and write it. So the beetle is also coming up. I told Arne that we should prioritize it and have it published before September. So maybe we'll do the beetle and then we'll do the final part of the garden, or we'll do the final part of the garden and then the beetle, and then we'll see what we do later on in the
I
spring
think you
or in
should
the
do the
winter.
garden
Sorry.
first because you're kind of in that garden mood right now.
Yeah, it is true.
So
So
but I've already written a lot.
Yeah.
I just sat down 2 days ago and suddenly I got this idea and there's so many things coming up.
yeah, Arne is
But I do it by hand, so I have to put it in the computer also.
and Arne is a very talented writer. It's just that he doesn't. You don't want to do it in English. You don't feel confident. But he's a very good writer in Norwegian, and then I'll have to do my very best.
I was good once
Oh, you're very good.
because when I was in school, have I told the story?
I don't. Yeah, I think you have.
So,
But now you have to
I
tell
was
it
good
because-
when I was a kid. because I wrote this story. You know, when you have in school, you have to write stories, and I felt I did a really good job. And then when there were time to get the books back, where
The
we
book
have-
report, yeah. The
I
report
was
card.
thinking I'm probably one of the best ones because I liked my story, and I wasn't, and I was not even in the end. So when the last person got his or her book, I was the only one who didn't get anything. And then they called my name, and I had to go up to the teacher, and they gave me an envelope with a letter to my parents. So I didn't understand anything. They didn't tell me anything, and I came home with a letter, and it said that my parents had to come and see the boss at school, the teacher, because I had been copying something that we had at home. From then, I started to write shorter stories, and I didn't put much in it. So some of my stories were really bad after that.
But you're
So
a good
that's
writer.
how you kill kids.
That's how you kill
from
kids.
Being creative.
Yeah.
So,
But Arne is a very good writer. He has promised a piece on the beetle, and then I will get it, and then I will translate it into English, and I'll do my very best. I promise, Arne, I'll do my very best to keep your spirit as I write it.
I know you can do it.
It's not going to be a story that I wrote. It's going to be a story Arne wrote, but translated by me. That way you will also have the opportunity to write, and so people
because
can
I
read
don't
your
know
stuff.
all these words. You have to Google all the words.
Yeah, but I'll
when
help you.
Translate it, and sometimes you don't even find the right word. So
You know, Arne and Carlos has always been a collaboration between two people
Teamwork.
and two brains. So everything that we've done in the garden, professionally, our work, and even the writing is collaborative. Now, if you've never actually sat here before, and now you're complaining because the podcast is called Sit and Knit for a Bit, and there still hasn't been a single thing about knitting. We've talked about cows and geese and poo and riding and heat waves.
Well, let's talk about knitting.
But now let's talk about knitting.
Where do you
and
want to start?
I think we should start with socks and sock yarn.
Yeah,
Arne has been working on the t-shirts,
I finished it.
and we sent out a little blurb a few days ago, a little newsletter about the t-shirts. The pattern is still under development. It's not available, but will
yet,
be
but it's coming.
available soon.
They are test knitting, so
Yes.
maybe that's why it takes time. I don't know. It's a long time, or maybe it's a holiday.
So
So
this
this is the
this
second
is the
one.
red t-shirt that is done with the yarn, the color called Lantern Night,
Yeah.
which is from the Edward Munch collection that we did. It's actually the very first collection that we designed back in 2015, but it's a new colorway, Lantern Light.
And this is done the old traditional way, and that's what I told the people who doing the patterns in America, that I want to have everything the old traditional way for a raglan. So I hope maybe that's why it takes time, because it's different.
Yeah, and I have told Arne that fine, the short sleeves is okay. I don't like short sleeves on knitwear, so I will never wear this. But I asked Arne kindly if he could make me one with long sleeves.
Yeah, and I ordered yarn.
But I want this one. I
Yeah.
love the...
I'm not sure if this
hang
is
on.
the third one.
So wait. We're going to surprise you all. Okay, so this is the third t-shirt Arne is working with. The colorway is Bamble, which is from the second collection that we ever designed, or second effect that we did. I'm going to take off this. This is what it looks like. And now prepare to be amazed over this. Look at that.
This is a nice color combination also.
That is the most beautiful colorway I've ever seen.
But I'm not promising you long sleeves yet if I don't have enough balls of yarn. But you can order more.
Yeah, but this has now become my personal favorite.
Personal.
Look at this. If there's something I love is blues with browns. And the yellow actually gives it also a little oomph that is very nice.
But you have to try this on, so I can figure out how long sleeves you want, because
Yeah.
then I just measure from under the arm and down to your wrist, and then it's easy to cast on stitches and make longer sleeves.
So we really are delivering on the Arne and Carlos socks and more. I mean, yes, you can knit socks, but you can also knit more.
And look, I had this on once.
And it's already shaped.
There's no short rows, and that's what I try to tell them. Don't do the short row on the traditional raglan
Yeah.
because I want to have the old way, the easy way, where
Yeah.
you don't have to think. You just knit the sleeves and the body together,
And knitting
and it comes by itself.
and knitting fabric is elastic. So once you put it on, it will shape to your body the same way a pair of socks hand knitted. Once you start wearing them, they will adapt to your feet.
And
It
you know,
is
the
just
more
the
you
way.
pull over
Yeah.
the chest, the deeper the front curve will be.
Yeah.
So it's not necessary, but try to tell that to people. No, you don't know anything.
Yeah. But anyway, no short rows on ours.
See, no, that's the difference.
And also we have an announcement, and we're very excited. We can't show you everything yet because then you're going to get angry that we don't have it available. But we have designed a new effect. It's the first time that we have designed a sock yarn effect since 2019, so since before the pandemic. And it's coming very soon. It will be available in August sometime. So next Sit in It for a bit, we will show you and talk about the collection that we're calling the Painted Room collection,
Yes.
which has colors inspired by different rooms in a house.
And I ordered 6 balls, so I have 6 balls now in each color.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will be enough for a long sleeve.
But let's
So we're gonna try it
let's
out.
order a couple of extra balls of this so that this one can be a long sleeve.
Or I can make
please.
2 of them.
I want a long sleeve with this one.
I can do another one.
Okay. So, and now everybody's saying, yeah, because I'm not going to make one. And you're right. I struggle with my little socks that I knit.
This will take you forever.
I mean, I could make one in theory, but I don't know if I have enough time left in the world.
Oh yeah.
I'm a slow knitter.
Oh.
I love knitting. I knit little things like hats and wrist warmers. I'm a slow knitter. And as I've always said, and I'm not even justifying it, but it's a fact, you don't have to be a good knitter to be a good designer. So there's tons of people that don't knit that do good design. So
But also I'm a slow knitter also.
oh
when,
yeah,
when did
right.
I start this one?
I don't know. A while
Yeah,
ago.
we had friends over and they reminded me. They asked, "How did it go with your orange and brown sweater?" And it's like, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna bring this now on the next cruise.
Yeah, which brings me to that little thing that I've been talking to Arne now for a while. The little Sudoku, where you have 3 tops, 3 bottoms, and 3 layering pieces, and then you have 27 outfits or
And
something
6
like that.
unfinished objects.
And then he wants to bring all his unfinished objects, which means we have to check in bags, which annoys me a little bit.
But I think on the next cruise we're doing, I have to bring things and try to finish them. So
Right.
my plan is to bring the
Less.
t-shirt,
You bring less things.
less, and maybe spend 1 day knitting t-shirt, 1 day making socks for the folk costume because they're still not finished,
I'm gonna
and
knit
maybe
a hat.
1 day for this.
I'm gonna knit a hat, another hat.
I think, but this one comes out nice.
Oh yeah, it's very nice.
It's a very old pattern
yeah,
called Lillehammer.
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 So yeah, and I want to try, Arne, to pack and bring less stuff. We have
okay,
too much
you
stuff.
can do that, and I can pack normal.
We have to. Arne, what happened to collaboration?
I think we should do a YouTube video on that packing, and see what happens.
When we try to minimize our packing.
Yeah, you pack that, like organize it like that Sudoku thing. And you put the suitcase down, you organize it. As soon as you lift it up, everything falls down into one end of the suitcase.
Well, let's try to pack and see if we can. I want to pack less. I want to bring less. It all gets so cluttered in the room. Well, you know, the rooms are small anyway when we're traveling. We're living off a suitcase.
And what's the problem with cluttered? What's the problem with cluttered?
Yeah, well,
Well, I have to tell you, was it last weekend?
sorry.
Last weekend we went
It's getting hot.
to see our friends, and we went to your goddaughter's birthday.
Yes.
And our friends told us about this very nice antique store, so we went there. And we came to this house. It was so beautiful.
And
they
a
had-
garden to match.
And the garden to match. And the antique store was just like a little house, but a lot of beautiful things. We didn't get much because it was quite expensive. We got some cheaper things.
I want to get the marble fruit. Oh, I
That
love.
was expensive. But we got, actually, and we came into, they wanted to show us the garden and the house. So we walked through the house, And I have to say, it's the first time we have been in a house in Norway where we are, maybe the second time, but it's not very often.
Which was the first one?
Well, that was this guy who lived close to Lillehammer, Jan Mattis. He worked with film.
Oh, did I ever go?
No, you never. That is many years before we met, but his house was amazing. But this house
Was amazing.
was amazing.
So it's quite interesting. I'm going to tell the quick story. The man is the owner of the house is a painter, but he doesn't paint art. He paints murals and he restores and things like that. He paints cupboards and all that kind of thing. So they hire him a lot to do a lot of restoration work in important monuments here in Norway. He's also, I believe, an aristocrat.
I think he came from...
there's no aristocrats in Norway. There haven't been for 200 years. But he comes from an aristocratic family, and they owned the land where they live. And they've
Actually,
owned
they
it.
own the whole island.
Yeah, they own the whole island for like 1,000
I heard,
years.
yeah.
That's what they say. Anyway, he then, then the aristocrats, as time passes, they lose more and more because everything gets split up. And then in the end, he and his sister shared the property somehow.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it happened, but...
So he has his own patch. And then he had a house built. Actually, he built it himself with his wife.
Yeah, our friend said that they took in some professional people to do like the frame of the house.
Yeah, and the foundations and everything.
Yeah, and then the husband and the wife, maybe the kids joined them. I don't know how many years they lived there. But they actually built everything. And a brick house.
And they are very, very hooked on a specific period especially in Swedish cultural history, which connects with the King Gustav III. So it's all this. In France, it would be the Directoire style or the Empire style. It coincides with that. Actually, no, it doesn't. Sorry, I'm wrong. The Empire is actually Napoleon. So Gustav III is pre-Napoleon. It would coincide with Louis XVI in France. However, and Marie Antoinette. However, the Gustavian style is actually more simple. It's very pared down. Furniture is white painted. Lines are very straight. And it is breathtakingly beautiful. And he's built this house inspired by that. And then they put all their stuff in it. And the stuff is amazing.
It's beautiful.
It's one of the most beautiful houses I've ever seen. And the shock is when you come to the realization that everything is 20 years old. 20 years old. It looks like it's 200.
Looks like it's been there forever.
Yeah, it looks like it's 220 years old.
But what I found very inspiring was when we walked in the house and they showed us the first floor. And we came into the library and the lady, or the wife, she had this collection of porcelain dolls, but like nice porcelain dolls, not the newer ones.
God,
this was
yes.
old. And she had made a huge cabinet where you could put on light. It was like an old cupboard with glass doors. And when she put the lights on and you saw in that cabinet, it was crowded with small porcelain dolls and furniture. It was so beautiful. And I was thinking, that's what we need.
I mean,
we need a house for Ken and Alan like that.
Okay, so let me say something here. I'm not into dolls the way Arne is. I do like them, and I like Blythe. I love Blythe, by the way, and I love Barbie and Ken, but not as much as Arne does. However, I have to say that when she went to the cabinet, did she open the door? No, she didn't open the door.
She just turned the light on.
Pressed the button on, and the whole thing lit up. It's the most magical thing
That
I've
was
seen in my
magic,
life.
that was magic.
It was crammed with things, and suddenly when she turned on the light, you could see every single detail, and it was so beautiful. Oh my God!
So when we went back, when we went from their place, we left with a cabinet. Of course, we were very inspired.
Yeah, because they have a little antique
So
business
this
on
one,
the side.
Yeah, so this was nice, and I started to put some Ken shoes in these drawers because these are good for Ken shoes. Well, you can't see, they're dark. And also the size. I just put out this Ken to show you. But this, if I do a cabinet like that, it will be very different because it will be with bigger furniture. It's easy to find the small furniture She had that also, but I don't buy the small dollhouse furniture. But look at the size.
Works.
It works. This is good. What did I call him? He was the
Fraternity.
fraternity. What does that mean?
Fraternity is when you're in university and you belong to like a house.
Okay, so
It's
that,
like this house and that house. They usually have Greek names.
okay.
You know what I
don't
mean?
know. Yeah.
And then you belong. It's like a club.
Oh, like in Harry Potter.
Right. But this is in real
Yeah.
life. So he's the fraternity guy.
A nice jacket,
Beautiful jacket. We should make this in real knit.
but we can't. I guess it's copy. We can do it for ourselves.
No, because this was made in the 1960s.
Or you never know.
Yeah, but this is not. I mean, this is not a registered design. If you know what I mean. This is anything. Anyone could knit this. It's polka dots.
Polka dots.
But yeah,
It's
it's very
very
nice.
beautiful.
Very nice with the shoes and all.
And then I started to clean up in my drawers because I was thinking now I should actually organize some of the scraps. And because I work on this summer quilt. Where did I put the summer quilt? I think I didn't bring it, but you've seen it before,
not.
most of you. It's like scraps with hexagons. And I was thinking I should make more hexagons and get rid of some stuff from the drawer. But then I was thinking to get those scraps, I have to do something.
Oh God.
I have to cut something. And then I started with the doll dresses. And I didn't manage to finish my cleaning because I found this fabric. Look at that fabric. I don't know why I kept it.
It's paisley.
But it's so boring.
Let's see.
For a doll,
Yeah, it's incredibly boring.
it's like it's blending in. So what I did I started to embellish. So I've been embellishing this one. So I follow the outline on the paisleys and do the beading, and this takes forever. And
It's
now,
beautiful, Arne.
and I also had cut these flowers out from another fabric, this palette or sequence flowers, and I was looking at this one and at the skirt, and there's a little bit too much beading. I need some flowers, and now I can't find the flowers. So I still had some flowers left, and I can't find them. But this will be a very nice doll for the dress for the share doll, and of course with lining. So I have to put this in. This is almost finished, but I have to do all the embellishments. So it will be something like this.
Lovely.
It's like a Alexander McQueen thing.
It's very nice. It'll be all full of that, I am assuming.
Yeah, but just the 2-3 flowers more if I can find the flowers, and then I continue with the pearls going up.
Well, it's lovely, very lovely.
So my cleaning stopped.
Your cleaning stopped, obviously, yeah. But it's a nice thing. I mean, we sit in this heat wave and, do these little things because you can't really work physically outside when it's that warm.
It's cooler indoors. We put up all the windows and
to be honest, touching the knitwear.
Look what I found. I found a flower. Where did that come from?
Did you embroider this?
No. Oh no, it should be on the back here. No, this came from another lace fabric with sequins, and I cut these out.
I thought you had embroidered them.
No.
Okay.
I can tell people. I can say I did it.
You
No,
could. I mean, nobody would know.
No, this one is supposed to be like on the back here. So that's why I found a pin on the table. It came from this one. But I have no clue where I put that little plastic bag with flowers. I've been looking all over.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's life.
Yeah, and we're going to finish this podcast with some more knitting. We're doing the knit along as well from Rowan again.
Yeah.
This we're running it this summer as well. Somebody asked if it was a new one, and it's not. It's the same one as before.
For those of you who haven't finished.
So for those of you who haven't finished, you can start watching the knit along over at Rowan, and we did a video to show you how to sew together the little blocks, which we've got here. So there's bells.
This is supposed to go this way because they're going different ways. So it's like symmetric when you put them together. So we did a video on sewing them together. I started, but
Little
then
Danish
I stopped
hearts.
again. So I guess I have to start again.
And these are the cute little elves. You know, this one here has a candle.
Yeah.
This one here has
They
a
all
candle.
have a candle.
This one here has a candle. Then this one here. I thought they had
you
gifts.
You were thinking about the one we had on the Christmas ball.
Yeah.
Because we had the one with the candle on the Christmas
No,
ball.
there's a one with gifts.
And gifts and the backpack.
But
like
these
the
all
sack.
have candles.
But where's the two I started to sew together?
Yeah, well, as always, Arne, you know.
Maybe I took them apart.
You always talk about how you have order and everything. I don't know about that.
Or maybe I took it out.
It's a snowflake.
I took it out again.
You
So-
probably
But we
did.
did a video once showing you how we prefer to sew them together, but I didn't finish it. I think I took it out because my plan was to do a short on this, film them. So that's life.
That's life.
I never finished. Some things I'll never finish.
That's life, yeah. I'm going to give you a challenge one day, and that is to not cast on anything new and finish all the projects that you have.
Yeah, that's my plan now.
Yeah, but that would be a good challenge. Do not cast and do not buy yarn.
Oh, bird.
Do not cast anything.
Look
Are you?
over there.
Are you trying to? He's trying to confuse me so that he can cast on a new project.
But
He's
I
terrible, this
promised
one.
myself I shouldn't cast on anything, and then I did this one. Because this one, I casted this on, was it on Saturday?
Yeah, on Saturday. No, on Saturday
So I was knitting
for the
this
football game.
before on the football game.
Yeah.
And I knitted a little bit on this week also. And this was a new thing which I shouldn't start. And now we got the new yarn. And now I want to try
More.
and see how that. So I need a lot of these needles, 2.5 millimeters.
Yep.
Then I can have a lot of t-shirts on the go
Yeah. I think I'm going to take one of the sock yarns on the cruise
and do this.
and do. Yeah, right. I mean, I could.
Yeah, but this
okay,
is
people,
easy for you.
People, I know how to do this.
Yeah, but you don't have. This is easy when you talk to people because you don't have to.
You cast on,
Knit on the round.
and then you knit 2, purl 2 for a number of rows, and then you just do stockinette on the round. Actually, I could do this. I can do a t-shirt.
I think you should.
I think I'm going to
you
do
should
one.
knit the t-shirt on the cruise
I
because you
think-
can do a lot of knitting.
I think I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You know what? You've convinced me. If you're taking the cruise with us,
You will
on the-
see him.
we're going on the Midnight Sun cruise, as we call it. You know, Norway is a very special country. We have the Aurora Borealis, and then we have the Midnight Sun. But if you're not Norwegian, maybe you don't know when those things take place. But we know because we live here. And we are going on a Midnight Sun cruise in August. And then you will immediately say, if you're Norwegian, yeah, but there's no Midnight Sun in Norway in August. And that is correct, technically. There's no Midnight Sun in mainland Norway. But the Svalbard archipelago up near the North Pole.
Aren't we coming like the last day?
No, not at all, not at
No?
all. We will be, so the last day of the Midnight Sun in mainland Norway is at the end of July. So the North Cape has the Midnight Sun until the end of July. So we will actually miss it by a day or two. However, it continues on Svalbard until August 22nd or 23rd, depending on the year and the sun. So anyway, there will be Midnight Sun when we get to Svalbard. I think we'll be there sometime around August 6th. So we will get the Midnight Sun there. That's why we call it a knitting under the Midnight Sun cruise, because technically there will be. Now, whether you will see it or not, that's a different question, because it depends on cloud coverage, obviously. Personally, I can do without it because I
It's
hate...
hard to sleep.
Yeah, I actually don't mind the dark winters as much as I do the Midnight Sun. I think the Midnight Sun can drive you crazy because it doesn't
even
get
here
dark.
we don't have the midnight sun right now, but it's so light at night.
And the
So-
birds.
Yeah.
You
so
know.
actually, we're gonna hand in curtains for the 2 bedrooms now because we're
Yeah.
gonna put some like this fabric that doesn't bring light in.
Yeah, this fabric that blocks the light. We
Yeah.
need to put that in, line our curtains with that because we're going crazy now. We have these blinds that we can pull down.
And
but
that works if it's not warm, but when it's warm outside, you can't even close the windows, and then you have that blind coming, crack,
Yeah.
crack, crack, and that's very annoying. So.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going on a midnight sun cruise to Svalbard, which we're looking forward to. We do it usually on the Norwegian ships, the traditional coastal express, and the line we're taking is called the Svalbard line. And what they do is they actually deliver supplies. So it's a working ship and a little cruise ship. It's very small. It's about 400 people.
Have you seen the big ones in Honningsvåg? You remember,
Yeah.
remember once we came to Honningsvåg and there was one of those big cruise ships that filled the harbor, and
Yeah,
it actually
horrible.
blocked the whole view. It's
Yeah.
like a city.
Meanwhile, our little boat is very small and it comes in, it's made so that it can enter ports down in the center of the city. You never need to take a tender usually. But anyway, it loads supply as it goes up, and then the ship actually, when we leave Tromsø, it goes into a warehouse. The whole ship just goes into this area, to a dock, and you can see it stays there for like a few hours, and you can see them loading vegetable and fruit and things, all sorts of things, and then it takes off to the North Cape, and then it goes to Svalbard to deliver supplies there because they are reliant on supplies from Norway. So you're kind of going on a ship that is actually connecting people, which I love as well.
Yeah.
So
it's smaller.
it's much smaller and really nice. So anyway, we are going to be with a group of people, I think around 30 people, which is
I
lovely.
think the big ships are not allowed in the fjords anymore, like Geiranger.
No, I think they've been
I think
banned.
they have to dock somewhere and
Yeah.
bring people in smaller boats.
And rightfully so. And then in towns like Bergen or cities like Bergen, they cause havoc with all the people getting off at the same time. We're not very big on supporters of that. But the cruise ship that we do is actually a working ship.
It's not a cruise ship.
It's not even a cruise ship. It's there to
We
connect.
call it a knitting cruise, but it's not a cruise ship.
Not really.
No.
But anyway, it's a fun thing. And if you'd like to get more information, all you need to do is go to arnecarlos.com and contact us, and we will send you more information about these trips. We're doing an Aurora Borealis one in late September. That's, the Aurora Borealis, sometimes you can actually see it in late August, early September, but it's very unusual.
Yeah.
But from mid-September or late September for sure.
It has to be dark at night.
Yeah, but the areas around Troms and Finnmark are actually the best areas for the Aurora Borealis because that is where the activity is at its highest. It's even higher there than in Svalbard. So usually if the skies are clear, you should be able to see it. Anyway, we're doing an Aurora Borealis cruise, also a working ship in September. I think it starts on September 24th. And we do have a spot or two available there in case.
When is that? In September?
Yeah, it's this coming
This year.
September.
This
yes.
year. Okay.
So if you're interested in that, do let us know.
You see,
about
I have hardly no clue where we're going or when we're going. I just wait for you to tell me to do that Sudoku.
Yeah, we're gonna try doing the packing.
Is it Sudoku you call it?
Yeah,
Sudoku? What is Sudoku?
it's the thing you play with squares and you have numbers and you have to put the number in the right.
Oh, that's Sudoku. Oh, I
Yeah.
haven't done that for many years.
My mother loved doing
I
Sudoku.
know, yes.
So she got.
My brain stopped. It's the heat.
It's the
I heard on the radio that older people can actually get very, what's it called, Gripsk? Forgetful in the heat. I'm
That
one of,
would be
I'm
us.
one of them.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we have tasks to do. Mainly sit in the shade and wait for the heat wave to get over. So let's start doing that.
Yeah. And we're probably doing a beetle trip on the birthday party on Sunday.
Yeah.
If it's not too warm, or if it's not raining.
Yeah, we're going on to a family thing on Sunday. So anyway, we hope that you have enjoyed our podcast today. If you have, please give us a big thumbs up. Remember to like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you never miss an episode. And for additional content, consider becoming a member of our YouTube channel. That actually helps us support the free channel. and there's tons of things going on there. Right now we're doing a weekly update from our garden every single week, and if you join now you can see the development in the garden from 6 weeks ago and up until now, how every week things have been growing more and more. So do consider that if you like, and if you don't want to, it's fine. We will always keep this part of the channel anyway. So we hope to see you again next time.
Yeah. So see you.
Thank you so much for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
No.